We have been listening to plenty of things around this area, loads of noise, I might argue, proper. And it honestly is going lower back to the whole Bitcoin and Ethereum maximalist form of concept, like, oh, there may be not anything better than Bitcoin, there is nothing higher than Ethereum. We've been listening to a variety of noise around this. And the noise has been so loud to the factor wherein, like Brad Garlinghouse, David Schwartz, and a ton of additional people from this space, we are speaking about validators on the XRP ledger, developers at the XRP ledger. Everyone is now getting so bored, stiff to the factor wherein like that is becoming this sort of big deal. But keep in mind, this is all noise. And Brad Garlinghouse did close down the whole maximalism type of mentality. We're going to talk approximately this, but we have a lot greater to deal with on this video because we were given some confirmation from Ripple on what is occurring this year and what we ought to be searching ahead to as nicely. So with that being stated, welcome to the channel, all and sundry. My call is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, with a bit of luck through the stop of this video, you do grow to be a subscriber. Let's dive on in and permit start off with Brad's message to all of those Bitcoin and Ethereum maxis accessible. We have some mind on maximalism. Let me say this as certainly as I can. The crypto industry has an actual shot here and now to achieve the many goals we've got in commonplace if we work together in preference to tearing every other down. This isn't and never can be a zero-sum game. I, personal XRP, Bitcoin and ETH, among a handful of others, we stay in a multi-chain global, and I've encouraged for a stage playing area instead of one token versus any other. If a government virtual asset reserve is created, I trust it have to be representative of the industry, now not simply one token, whether or not it's Bitcoin, XRP or something else. Maximalism remains the enemy of crypto progress. I completely agree. And I'm very happy to see fewer and fewer oldsters ascribe to this outdated and misinformed thinking. And pay attention, when we think about what's going on right here, he is 100% correct. Like, while we consider this complete, like, oh, hi there, it's Bitcoin, it is Bitcoin. There's no second great, you got to maintain Bitcoin. It's most effective Bitcoin. Like, it is simply ridiculous, okay? Number one, let's just be sincere right here. You should be a genius to understand that Bitcoins, you recognize time to make you rich is over. Unless you have already got a massive amount of cash, Bitcoin isn't a brilliant ROI car. It's simply not. Okay, marketplace cap properly over 2 trillion or to a 10x from here to 20 trillion, sure. But if Bitcoin did a 10x to 20 trillion greenbacks, XRP could possibly do properly over a 20 plus X. Majority of the antique cash on this area will probably do properly over a 50 to 100x plus gain. And I'm being very conservative by using the mana with these additional gains. We don't know how similar to, once more, those gains are very conservative on plenty of antique cash, because we realize that old coins will severely outperform Bitcoin. It's just statistics, right? Which is always why I've stated it's now not. Like, we shouldn't be just looking at this space and saying, oh, nicely, it is all approximately Bitcoin proper. Because sooner or later in time, okay, utility could be the principal driver of cost. And I hate to interrupt it to anyone available that believes in Bitcoin. However, Bitcoin has genuinely zero software. We should take a seat round and kick the can down the road and say, oh, well, it's a store of value, it's a shop of price. It's a volatile asset that loses, you already know, 70 to 80% of cost. Every 4 years, I imply that just doesn't sound like a, strong store of price. And don't get me wrong, I get it proper. Bitcoin has long gone up because inception, every unmarried cycle. But on the end of the day, a store of price like gold, because we have a look at gold, plenty of human beings confuse the reality that gold, although yes, it is a store of value, it additionally has a ton of utility tied to it as properly. Graphics processor chips have gold in them. Even loads of CPUs now use gold. Quantum computing is particularly utilizing gold. You recognize a lot obtainable that includes gold in it. What does Bitcoin, you already know, have similar to that? What's the use of Bitcoin today? We constantly pay attention to the whole concept of buy and maintain Bitcoin, buy and keep Bitcoin. Holding Bitcoin is simply now not, it's not enough, okay? So once more, we examine this space from an application attitude, and we recognize things are going to alternate. But outdoor of this, talking approximately exchange, we're beginning to see a few very massive movements being made. We have Scott Bessent's confirmation as United States Secretary of the Treasury highlights President Trump's willpower to restoring financial power and stability. America is back. Now, This changed into one man or woman that we had been focused on because he is likewise very seasoned crypto. We have over here from Brad Garlinghouse, congrats to the newly showed Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. He'll be a wonderful leader for Americans. I'm assured he's going to enact commonplace field financial rules, running with the management and Congress to grow US tech and crypto innovation. And yes, due to the fact, consider, this Congress now could be very seasoned crypto. And when we reflect on consideration on this, it is beginning the door for utility to come to be the subsequent large issue. That is why I've continually stated, stop searching at this space from a Bitcoin perspective. Look at it from a software angle. It's simply information that Bitcoin isn't going to tokenize plenty, if now not something, right? On top of that, Bitcoin isn't going to be applied for monetary transactions. That's the number one cause why we hear a whole lot of these Bitcoin max, you say, buy and maintain it, buy and preserve it, due to the fact the extra humans that buy and keep it, the much less deliver obtainable, which means that Bitcoin's rate could fluctuate, very speedy to the upside or maybe the disadvantage, depending on if somebody's going to be shopping for it or selling it. So while we reflect on consideration on that, right, buying and protecting is just a made-up aspect so as to provide you with this. You realize idea that it will cross up all the time and it is always going to be this notable store of fee, whilst you understand this marketplace continues to be in a hype and speculative region. We don't know what Bitcoin is going to be in 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Will or not it's around, it simply may be. But is it going to be one of those such things as you realize BlackBerry, for an instance, or AOL or MySpace? Like we've seen these things come and cross in time. It's tech. So again, this is why when we begin to see those movements being made, we sincerely centered on the big photo right here. That's utility. Outside of this, we also have from Cynthia Loomis, the Virtual Asset Dream Group, permits get to paintings. And here we've Senate Banking Subcommittee on Digital Assets. And we will see all of the individuals right here, proper. All of these people, for the maximum element, are very, very pro-crypto. They're seasoned tech. They're pro, you recognize, innovation. And I'm absolutely very excited to look what occurs because you recognize if we begin to see a few very massive moves and if we start to see matters get taken very critical around crypto, because I do assume that now is the fine time. There's no longer going to be a better time to be very bullish on, you realize, crypto on every unmarried degree right here in phrases of the governmental stage.